my god, Johnny. Don't even let me say hi before I get bonked. Thanks for the head pat. Thank God. Press the big red button. It really is tempting, huh? But hello. We're doing a random middle of the day stream again because I woke up and I wanted to stream. Sometimes, things can be weird, things can be different, that's fine. Um I ended up googling the old Sherlock Holmes short stories. That's what I'm gonna be reading today because I love the Sherlock Holmes. It's no surprise that the girl who loves puzzle games also loves mystery novels. Anything written on the button? I think the button just says bonk. Um, Unfortunately, I think the button just says bonk. It's the big red bonk button. Ah. At least the hammer's cute, you know. Oh, okay. Sure. I'm going to. Oof, I'm still quite sleepy actually. Thanks for the head pat. And also, what the fuck, Ethan? Why are you here? Aren't you at work? Isn't it like math? What time is it? 5. No, -5. 9 a.m.? I think that's right. SMH my head for real. Why is that such a weirdly, like, chronically online ass sentence? You don't have to join the stream. Plus, with what you do, you could just have me on in the background. I'm your work entertainment for the day. Enjoy. Da. Bing bong. Okay, let us begin the reading. Just making sure everything's running smoothly. Hopefully the background sound is fine and that y'all can hear it. I hope it's not too quiet, but I think it should be fine. Let's see. My nose is being weird. Okay. Sherlock Holmes, A Case of Identity. Ooh. Well, I haven't actually decided. I could read this, I could read something else. I mean, this is simple. I assume it's a stolen identity case, you know? There's also the Boscombe Valley mystery. You know what? I'm gonna do that actually. I like that one better. I need to bring my headphones more often. I might be doing more day streams for ASMR, so if you wanna watch them, you're gonna have to. Teehee. Oh, I will just do a little that, that. We've also got fishing, if anyone is interested in that. Fishing is fun. Um, Setting up all the like fun things that I can for chat, so y'all can enjoy yourselves. Fishing! I quite like the fishing too, I'm not gonna lie. I got a legendary one recently, so Oh hey, yeah. Nice, nice, nice. But decent fish catch too. Right. Sorry. The hardest part about doing ASMR is just trying to keep my laughs quiet. I'm such a loud laugher. It's like, I can't just like full belly laugh anymore. Da, 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 da. Okay, okay, now I will read for real. The Boscombe Valley Mystery. We were seated at breakfast one morning, my wife and I, when the maid brought in a telegram. It was from Sherlock Holmes and ran this way. Have you a couple of days to spare? Have just been wired from the west of England in connection with Boscombe Valley tragedy. Shall be glad if you will come with me. Air and scenery perfect. Leave Paddington by the 11:15. What what do you say, dear? Said my wife, looking across at me. Will you go? I really don't know what to say. I have a fairly long list at present. Oh no. Oh, gambling has begun, hasn't it? There is a not countdown, cool down timer on the gambling. Don't ask me what the amount of time is. I'll figure it out eventually, probably. It's just whatever Stream Elements did as default, so I haven't changed it. Probably like a minute or something. Hi, hero. Hi. We're reading Sherlock Holmes. We're doing mysteries. Ah, for the calm down, yeah. Nice. Right. Ah, okay. Da, 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 da. Oh, and Truther would do your work for you. You have been looking a little pale lately. I think that the change would do you good, and you are always so interested in Mr. Sherlock Holmes's cases. I should be ungrateful if I were not, seeing that I gained through one of them, I answered. But if I am to go, I must pack at once, for I have only half an hour. My experience of my experience of camp life in Afghanistan had at least the effect of making me a prompt and ready traveller. My wants were few and simple, so that in less than the time stated I was in a cab with my valise, rattling away to Paddington Station. Sherlock Holmes was pacing up and down the platform, his tall, gaunt figure made even gaunter and taller by his long grey travelling cloak and close-fitting cloth cap. I'll be quiet, but I just had like a little remembrance with seeing you in chat hero. I need to like I need to find another Twitch mod. Teehee. So if any of y'all are interested, because Eden cannot be here all of the time actively, considering he is at work and shouldn't be watching this stream in the first place. Um, I do need to be on the hunt for a Twitch mod, a little bit. Doohoo. Right. It is really very good of you to come, Watson, said he. It makes a considerable difference to me having someone with me on whom I can thoroughly rely. Local aid is always either worthless or else biased. If you will keep the two corner seats, I shall get the tickets. I don't know why that word threw me off. It's because it was split between lines, and I was like, huh? Biased? Yeah, I am a bias. Oh my god. It's almost a guarantee. I like having the guaranteed win when you're the only one that joins the raffle, SCP. But hey, more points for you to gamble. Right. We had the carriage to ourselves save for an immense litter of papers which Holmes had brought with him. Among the rummaged and read with intervals of note-taking and of meditation, until we were past Reading. Then he suddenly rolled them all into a gigantic ball and tossed them onto the rack. What the helly? Have you heard anything of the case? He asked. Not a word. I have not seen a paper for some days. I do need to change the points command so it actually says fairy dust instead. Oh no, Hero. Oh no. Wait, here. A chance to recoup your losses. If I can type. Get some more so you can gamble some more. No. The London press has not had very full accounts. I have just been looking through all the recent papers in order to master the particulars. It seems, from what I gather, to be one of those simple cases which are so extremely difficult. Oh, Eden, you missed it. But there you go, Hero. There should be. I know there's a way to do raffles with higher points amounts, but I haven't figured it out yet, so. Y'all have your fun for real. Right. That sounds a little paradoxical, but it is profoundly true. Singularity is almost invariably a clue. The more featureless and commonplace a crime is, the more difficult it is to bring it home. In this case, however, they have established a very serious case against the son of the murdered man. It is a murder, then? Well, it is conjectured to be so. I shall take nothing for granted until I have the opportunity of looking personally into it. I will explain the state of things to you, as far as I have been able to understand it, in very few words. Oh, Ethan. Well, it is conjectured to be so. Wait, no, I read that. Oops. Alright. Boscombe Valley is a country district not far from Ross in Hertfordshire. The largest landed proprietor in that part is a Mr. John Turner, who made his money in Australia and returned some years ago to the old country. One of the farms which he held, that of Hatherley, was let to Mr. Charles McCarthy, who was also an ex-Australian. I don't know why, but referring to someone as an ex-Australian is kind of funny. They just stopped being Australian. Hello? Oh my god. The men had known each other in the colonies, so that it was not unnatural that when they came to settle down, they should do so as near as each other as possible. Turner was apparently the richer man, so McCarthy became his tenant, but still remained, it seems, upon terms of perfect equality, as they were frequently together. Miss McCarthy had one son, a lad of 18, and Turner had only a daughter of the same age, but neither of them had wives living. They appear to have avoided the society of the neighbouring English families, and to have led retired lives, but both the McCarthys were fond of sport, and were frequently seen at the race meetings of the neighbourhood. McCarthy kept two servants, a man and a girl. Turner had a considerable household, some half dozen in the least. That is as much as I have been able to gather about the families. Now for the facts. Nope. Oh. Dumpty dumpty da. On June 3rd, that is, on Monday last, McCarthy left his house at Atherley about 3 in the afternoon and walked to the Boscombe Pool, which is a small lake formed by the spreading out stream which runs down Boscombe Valley. He had been out with his serving man in the morning at Ross, and he had told the man that he must hurry, as he had an appointment of importance to keep at 3. From that appointment he never came back alive. Ah, thanks for the head pat. From Hatherley farmhouse to the Boscombe Pool is a quarter of a mile, and two people saw him as he passed over this ground. One was an old woman, whose name is not mentioned, and the other was William Crowder, a gamekeeper in the employ of Mr. Turner. Both these witnesses deposed that Mr. McCarthy was walking alone. The gamekeeper adds that within a few minutes of his seeing Mr. McCarthy pass, he had seen his son, Mr. James McCarthy, going the same way with a gun under his arm. To the best of his belief, the father was actually in sight at the time, and the son was following him. He thought no more of the matter until he heard in the evening of the tragedy that had occurred. I wish I could speak. The tragedy that had occurred. There we go. That's how English works, right? The two McCarthys were seen after the time when William Crowder, the gamekeeper, lost sight of them. The Boscombe Pool is thickly wooded round, with just a fringe of grass and reeds around the edge. A girl of 14, Patience Moran, who is the daughter of the lodge keeper of Boscombe Valley Estate, was in one of the woods picking flowers. She states that while she was there she saw at the border of the wood and close by the lake Mr. McCarthy and his son, and they appeared to be having a violent quarrel. She heard Mr. McCarthy the elder using a very strong language to his son, and she saw that the latter raise up his hand as if to strike his father. She was so frightened by their violence that she ran away and told her mother when she reached home that she had left the two McCarthys quarrelling near Boscombe Pool, and that she was afraid they were going to fight. She had hardly said the words when young Mr. McCarthy came up running to the lodge to say that he had found his father dead in the wood, and to ask for the help of the lodge-keeper. He was much excited, without either his gun or his hat, and his right hand and sleeve were observed to be stained with fresh blood. On following him, they found the dead body stretched out upon the grass beside the pool. The head had been beaten by repeated blows of some heavy and blunt weapon. The injuries were such as might very well have been inflicted by the butt end of his son's gun, which was found lying on the grass within a few paces of the body. Under these circumstances, man, trying to do reading while I'm sleepy is not it for sure. Under these circumstances, the young man was instantly arrested, and a verdict of willful murder having been returned at the inquest on Tuesday. He was on a Wednesday brought before the magistrates at Ross, who have referred the case to the next assizes. Those are the main facts of the case as they came out before the coroner and the police court. I could hardly imagine a more damning case, I remarked. If ever circumstantial evidence pointed to a criminal, it does so here. Circumstantial evidence is a very tricky thing, answered Holmes thoughtfully. It may seem to point very straight to one thing, but if you shift your own point of view a little, you may find it pointing in an equally uncompromising manner to something entirely different. I got an itch in my nose. Oh no. Right. It must be confessed, however, that the case looks exceedingly grave against the young man, and it is very possible that he is indeed the culprit. Oh God, do I need to do this? Sorry. Ow. But hello, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Brain function, please. Yes, there we go. Oh my god. Okay. Why is there... Sorry. My chair was making weird noises and I was mildly concerned, but this is fine. Um, Right, there we go. There are several people in the neighborhood, however, and among them Miss Turner, the daughter of the neighboring landowner, who believe in his innocence, and who have retained the Lestrade, whom you may recollect in connection with the study in scarlet, to work out the case in his interest. Lestrade, being rather puzzled, had referred the case to me, and hence it is that two middle-aged gentlemen are flying westward at 50 miles an hour instead of quietly digesting their breakfasts at home. I am afraid, said I, that the facts are so obvious that you will find little credit to be gained out of this case. There is nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact, he answered, laughing. Besides, we may chance to hit upon some other obvious facts which may have been by no means obvious to Mr. Lestrade. You know me too well to think that I am boasting when I say that I shall either confirm or destroy his theory by means which he is quite incapable of employing, or even of understanding. To take the first example to hand, I very clearly perceive that in your bedroom the window is upon the right-hand side, and yet I question whether Mr. Lestrade would have noted even so self-evident a thing as that. How on earth? Oh, Sherlock Holmes, you man, the man, the myth, the legend, innit? Um, my dear fellow, I know you well. I know the military neatness which characterizes you. You shave every morning, and in this season you shave by sunlight. But since your shaving is less and less complete as we get further back on the left side, until it becomes positively slovenly as we get round the angle of the jaw, it is surely very clear that the side is less illuminated than the other. I could not imagine a man of your habits looking at himself in an equal light and being satisfied with such a result. I only quote this as a trivial example of observation and inference. Therein lies my meter. I don't know what that word is. And it's like italicized, so they don't expect me to know what that word is, I don't think. And it is possible that it may be of some service in the investigation which lies before us. There are one or two minor points which were brought out on the inquest which are worth considering. What are they? It appears that his arrest did not take place at once, but after the return to Hatherley Farm. On the inspector of constabulary informing him that he was a prisoner, he remarked that he was not surprised to hear it, and that it was no more his deserts. This observation of his had the natural effect of removing any traces of doubt which might have remained in the mind of the coroner's jury. was a confession, I ejaculated. No, for it was followed by a protestation of innocence. Coming on top of such a damning series of events, it was at least a most suspicious remark. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I need to clean my glasses. Can't see shit. There we go. I am unblind. Unblind me at once, peasant. Like unhand me. Okay. There we go. On the contrary, said Holmes, it is the brightest rift which I can present, which I can at present see in the clouds. However innocent he might be, he could not be such an absolute imbecile as to not see that the circumstances were very black against him. Had he appeared surprised at his own arrest, or feigned indignation at it, I should have looked upon it as highly suspicious, because such surprise or anger would not be natural under the circumstances, and yet might appear to be the best policy to a scheming man. His frank acceptance of the situation marks him as either an innocent man, or else as a man of considerable self-restraint and firmness. As to his remark about his deserts, it was also not unnatural if you consider that he stood beside the dead body of his father, and that there is no doubt that he had that very day so far forgotten his filial duty as to bandy words with him, and even, according to the little girl whose evidence is so important, to raise his hand as if to strike him. The self-reproach and contrition which are displayed in his remark appear to me to be the signs of a healthy mind rather than of a guilty one. I shook my head. Many men have been hanged from far slighter evidence, I remarked. So they have, and many men have been wrongfully hanged. What is this young man's own account of the matter? It is, I am afraid, not very encouraging to his supporters, though there are one or two points in it which are suggestive. You will find it here, and may read for it yourself. He picked out from his bundle a copy of the local Hertfordshire paper, and having turned down the sheet, he pointed out the paragraphs in which the unfortunate young man had given his own statement of what had occurred. I settled myself down in the corner of the carriage and read it very carefully. It ran this way. Oh God, it's all in italics. No. I gotta make this bigger so I can read it better. So hi everybody in chat. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Wow. Can I? I should just have this copied. Hi. Yeah. It's a cozy time. Let's see. Mr. James McCarthy, the only son of the deceased, was then called and gave evidence as follows. I had been away from home for 3 days at Bristol, and had only just returned upon the mornings of last Monday, the 3rd. My father was absent from home at the time of my arrival, and I was informed by the maid that he had driven over to Ross with John Cobb, the groom. Shortly after my return, I heard the wheels of his trap in the yard, and looking out of my window, I saw him get out and walk rapidly out of the yard, and though I was not aware of which direction he was going. I then took my gun and strolled out in the direction of Boscombe Pool, with the intention of visiting the rabbit warren which is upon the other side. On my way, I saw William Crowder, the gamekeeper, as he had stated in his evidence, but he is mistaken in thinking that I was following my father. I had no idea that he was in front of me. When about 100 yards from the pool, I heard a cry of "Koi?" Weird, okay. Which was a usual signal between my father and myself. I then hurried forward and found him standing by the pool. He appeared to be much surprised at seeing me, and asked me rather roughly what I was doing there. A conversation ensued which led to high words and almost blows, for my father was a man of a very violent temper. Seeing that his passion was becoming ungovernable, I left him and returned towards Hatherley Farm. I had not gone more than 150 yards, however, when I heard a hideous if only I could brain when I heard a hideous outcry behind me, which had caused me to run back again. I found my father expiring upon the ground, with his head terribly injured. I dropped my gun and held him in my arms, but he almost instantly expired. I knelt beside him for some minutes, and then made my way to Mr. Turner's lodge-keeper, his house being the nearest, to ask for assistance. I saw no one near my father when I returned, and I have no idea how he came by his injuries. He was not a popular man, being somewhat cold and forbidding in his manners, but he had, as far as I know, no active enemies. I know nothing further of the matter. The coroner. Did your father make any statement to you before he died? Witness. He mumbled a few words, but I could only catch some allusion to a rat. The coroner. What did you understand by that? Witness. It conveyed no meaning to me. I thought that he was delirious. The coroner. What was the point upon which you and your father had this final quarrel? Witness. I should prefer not to answer. The coroner. I'm afraid I must press it. Witness. It is really impossible for me to tell you. I can assure you that it has nothing to do with the sad tragedy which followed. Coroner. That is for the court to decide. I need not point out to you that your refusal to answer will prejudice your case considerably in any future proceedings which may arise. Witness. I still must refuse. The coroner. I understand that the cry of Koi was a common signal between you and your father. Witness. It was. Coroner. How was it, then, that he had uttered it before he saw you, and before he even knew that you had returned from Bristol? Witness. With considerable confusion. I do not know. A juryman. Did you see nothing which aroused your suspicions when you returned on hearing the cry and found your father fatally injured? Nothing definite. Coroner. What do you mean? Witness. I was so disturbed and excited as I rushed out into the open, yet that I could not think of anything except for my father. Yet I have a vague impression that as I ran forward, something lay upon the ground to the left of me. It seemed to be something grey in colour, a coat of some sort, or plaid perhaps. When I rose from my father, I looked around for it, but it was gone. Do you mean that it disappeared before you went for help? Yes, it was gone. You cannot say what it was? No, I had a feeling something was there. How far from the body? 12 yards or so. And how far from the edge of the wood? About the same. Then, if it was removed, it was while you were within 12 yards of it. Yes, but with my back towards it. This concluded the examination of the witness. I see, said I as I glanced down at the column, that the coroner in his concluding remarks was rather severe upon young McCarthy. Oh, thanks for the follow, Warcraft. I appreciate it. Thank you. He called attention, and with reason, to the discrepancy about his father having signalled to him before seeing him, also to his refusal to give details of his conversation with his father, and singular account of his father's dying words. They are all, as he remarks, very much against the son. Holmes laughed softly to himself, and stretched himself out upon the cushioned seat. Both you and the coroner have been at some pains, said he, to single out the very strongest points in the young man's favour. Don't you see that you alternately give him credit for having too much imagination, and too little? Too little if he could not invent a cause of quarrel which would give him the sympathy of the jury. Too much if he evolved from his own inner consciousness anything so outre as a dying reference to a rat and the incident of the vanishing cloth. No, sir, I shall approach this case from the point of view that what this young man is true, and we shall see whether that hypothesis will lead us. I, that sentence really made me struggle for some reason. What the hell? Mm-hmm. Okay, bear with me. Okay, there was some noise happening in the background, and I didn't want the mic to pick it up and disturb you guys. Um, right. And now here is my pocket Petrarch, and not another word shall I say of this case until we are on the scene of action. We lunch at Swindon, and I see that we shall be there in 20 minutes. Reading Sherlock Holmes has has always an element of like, oh, because like I know where Swindon is. I've been there. It's just so weird. Yeah, I want to do some fishing too. I'm so glad I muted myself because that was just like a fucking loud ass noise. Jesus. Trying to. I have so much gold. Hell yeah. I like the fishing mini game. Okay. Right. It was nearly 4 o'clock when we at last, after passing through the beautiful Stroud Valley and over the broad gleaming Severn, found ourselves at the pretty little country town of Ross. A lean, ferret-like man, furtive and sly-looking, was waiting for us upon the platform. In spite of the light brown dust coat and leather leggings, which he wore in deference to his rustic surroundings, I had no difficulty recognizing Lestrade of Scotland Yard. With him we drove to Hereford Arms, where a room had already been engaged for us. "I have ordered a carriage," said Lestrade, as we sat over a cup of tea. "I knew your energetic nature, and that you would not be happy until you had been at the scene of the crime." Oh my god, gummy sharks! I want some gummy sharks. I want candy. I would like candy. I just noticed I don't have my jacket on. Oh my god. Wait, this whole time. Ooh. This whole time I didn't have my jacket on. My bare arms were on display. Oh my god. Mm. Have a go work day. Maybe come back. You should come back. Tee. I need my one mod in chat, at least. Right. It was very nice and complimentary of you, Holmes answered. It is entirely a question of barometric pressure. Lestrade looked startled. "I do not quite follow," he said. "How is the glass?" "29, I see. No wind, and not a cloud in the sky. I have a case full of cigarettes here which need smoking, and the sofa is very much superior to the usual country hole abomination. I do not think it is probable that I should use the carrot tonight." Lestrade laughed indulgently. "You have, no doubt, already formed your conclusions from the newspapers," he said. "The case is as plain as a pikestaff, and the more one goes into it, the plainer it becomes. Still, of course, one can't refuse a lady, and such a very positive one, too. She has heard of you, and would have your opinion. Though I repeatedly told her that there was nothing which you could do which had not already been done. Why, bless my soul, here is her carriage at the door." He had hardly spoken before there rushed into the room one of the most lovely young women that I have ever seen in my life. Her violet eyes shining, her lips parted, I can't English. A pink flush upon her cheeks, all thought of her natural reserve lost in her overpowering excitement and concern. "Oh, Mr. Sherlock Holmes," she cried, glancing from one to the other of us, and finally, with a woman's quick intuition, fastening upon my companion. "I am so glad that you have come. I have driven down to tell you so. I know that James didn't do it. I know it, and I want you to start upon your work knowing it too. Never let yourself doubt upon that point. We have known each other since we were little children, and I know his faults as no one else does, but he is too tender-hearted to hurt a fly. Such a charge is absurd to anyone who really knows him." "I hope we may clear him, Miss Turner," said Sherlock Holmes, "but you may rely upon my doing all that I can." "But you have read the evidence. You have formed some conclusion. Do you not see some loophole, some flaw? Do you not yourself think that he is innocent?" "I think that this is very probable." "There now," she cried, throwing back her head and looking defiantly at Lestrade. "You hear? He gives me hopes." Lestrade shrugged his shoulders. "I'm afraid that my colleague has been a little quick in forming his conclusions," he said. "But he is right. Oh, I know that he is right. James never did it. And about his quarrel with his father, I am sure that the reason why he would not speak about it to the coroner was because I was concerned in it." So, like, I I had a feeling earlier when we were reading, and they were like, "Oh, the two guys who were really close. One of them had a son, and the other one had a daughter." And I was like, you know, when two men are really close, and then they each have one son and one daughter, things tend to happen there when kids grow up. Oh my lord. "It is no time for me to hide." "No." In what way?" asked Mr. Holmes. "It is no time for me to hide anything. James and his father had many disagreements about me. Mr. McCarthy was very anxious that there should be a marriage between us. James and I have always loved each other as brother and sister, but of course he is young and has seen very little of life yet, and well, he naturally did not want to do anything like that yet. So there were quarrels, and this I am sure was one of them." "And your father," said Holmes, "was he in favor of such a union?" "No, he was averse to it also. No one but Mr. McCarthy was in favor of it." A quick blush passed over her fresh young face as Holmes shot one of his keen, questioning glances at her. "Thank you for this." And kind of like speak too quickly while also being a little bit too sleepy, I think. I'm just a baby. Let me be a baby. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There we go. "Thank you for this information," said he. "May I see your father if I call tomorrow?" "I am afraid the doctor won't allow it." "The doctor?" "Yes. Have you not heard? Poor father has been strong for years back, but this has broken him down completely. He has taken to his bed, and Dr. Willows says that he is a wreck and that his nervous system is shattered. Mr. McCarthy was the only man alive who had known Dad in the old days in Victoria." "Ha! In Victoria? That is important." "Yes, at the mines." "Quite so, at the gold mines, where, as I understand, Mr. Turner made his money." "Yes, certainly. Thank you, Miss Turner. You have been of material assistance to me. You will tell me if you have any news tomorrow." "No doubt you will go to prison to see James. Oh, if you do, Mr. Holmes, do tell him that I know him to be innocent." "I will, Miss Turner. You must go home. I must go home now, for Dad is very ill, and he misses me so if I leave him. Good-bye, and God help you in your undertaking." She hurried from the room as impulsively as she had entered, and we heard the wheels of her carriage rattle off down the street. "I am ashamed of you, Holmes," said Lestrade with dignity after a few minutes' silence. "Why should you raise up hopes which you are bound to disappoint? I am not over tender of heart, but I call it cruel." Oops. Water time. Okay. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Meow. Meow. I'm just having a silly fun time. "I think that I see my way to clearing James McCarthy," said Holmes. "Have you an order to see him in prison?" "Yes, but only for you and me." "Then I shall reconsider my resolution about going out. We have still time to take the train to Hereford and see him tonight." "Ample." "Then let us do so. Watson, I fear that you will find it very slow, but I shall only be away a couple of hours." I walked down to the station with them, and then wandered through the streets of the little town, finally returning to the hotel, where I lay upon the sofa and tried to interest myself in a yellow-backed novel. The puny plot of the story was so thin, however, when compared to the deep mystery through which we were groping, and I found my attention wander so continually from the action to the fact that I at last flung it across the room and gave myself up entirely to a consideration of the events of the day. Supposing that this unhappy young man's story were absolutely true, then what hellish thing, what absolute unforeseen and extraordinary calamity could have occurred between the time when he parted from his father and the moment when, drawn back by his screams, he rushed into the glade? It was something terrible and deadly. What could it be? Might not the nature of the injuries reveal something to my medical instincts? I rang the bell and called for the weekly county paper, which contained a verbatim account of that inquest. Of the inquest. Mm. Freaking people not drive stupid loud ass motorbikes bloody running past my window pissing me off. This is why I don't usually stream during the day. Right. Bear with me just a moment. There we go. I'm gonna adjust that a little bit. Alright. So, the surgeons, in the surgeon's deposition, it was stated that the posterior third of the left parietal bone and the left half of the occipital bone had been shattered by a heavy blow from a blunt object. I marked the spot upon my own head. Clearly, such a blow must have been struck from behind. That was to some extent in favor of the accused, as when he was seen quarrelling he was face to face with his father. Still, it did not go for very much, for the older man might still have turned his back before the blow fell. Still, it might be worth while to call Holmes's attention to it. Then there was the peculiar dying reference to a rat. What could that mean? It could not be delirium. A man dying from a sudden blow does not commonly become delirious. No, it was most likely an attempt to explain how he met his fate. But what could it indicate? I cudgelled my brains to find some possible explanation. And then the incident of the grey cloth seen by young Mr. McCarthy. If that were true, the murderer must have dropped some part of his dress, presumably his overcoat, in his flight. and must have had the hardihood to return and to carry it away the instant when the son was kneeling, his back turned, not a dozen paces off. What a tissue of mysteries and improbabilities the whole thing was! I did not wonder at Lestrade's opinion, and yet I had so much faith in Sherlock Holmes's insight that I could not lose hope as long as every fresh fact seemed to strengthen his conviction of young McCarthy's innocence. I keep wanting to put Mr. in front of McCarthy every time because the capital M just throws me off. Oh no, only 2 gold. That's peanut Chiru. Wow. You're rich. You've struck gold. Mm. Oopsie. I should have refilled my water before stream. At this rate, I might run out. Well. Wait, did I? I got a new emote too. He. I have some still. I don't need to get some yet. Maybe in like another half hour or so. Yeah. I mean, I made a few emotes in the thingy that I need to upload. Some of them I exported, but the file sizes ended up too big, and then I got lazy. I have a few I'm gonna be uploading more. Um, ah, right. It was late before Sherlock Holmes's. Nope. It was late before Sherlock Holmes returned. He came back alone, for Lestrade was staying in lodgings in the town. The glass still keeps very high, he remarked as he sat down. It is of importance that it should not rain before we are able to go over the ground. On the other hand, a man should be at his very best and keenest with not such nice work as that, and I did not wish to do it when fagged by a long journey. I have seen young McCarthy. And what did you learn from him? Nothing. Could he throw no light? None at all. I was inclined to think at one time that he knew who had done it and was screening him or her, but I am convinced now that he is as puzzled as everyone else. He is not very quick-witted youth, though comely to look at, and I should think sound at heart. I cannot admire his taste, I remarked, if it is indeed a fact that he was averse to a marriage with so charming a young lady as Miss Turner. Ah, thereby hangs a rather painful tale. This fellow is madly, insanely in love with her. But some 2 years ago, when he was only a lad, and before he really knew her, for she had been away 5 years at a boarding school, what does the idiot do but get into the clutches of a barmaid in Bristol and marry her at a registry office? Oh my god. Men, men, I swear. Oh Lord. No one knows a word of the matter, but you can imagine how maddening it must be him to be upbraided for not doing what he would give his very eyes to do, but knows but he knows to be absolutely impossible. It was the sheer frenzy of this sort which made him throw his hands up into the air when his father, at their last interview, was goading him on to propose to Miss Turner. On the other hand, he had no means of supporting himself, and his father, who was by all accounts a very hard man, would have thrown him over utterly had he known the truth. It was with this barmaid wife that he had spent the last 3 days in Bristol, and his father did not know where he was. Mark that point, it is of importance. Good has come out of evil, however, for the barmaid, finding from the purpose from the, but how bumped me so hard you threw off my sentence entirely. Big stretch. Oh, that was a good. I've got the air conditioning on, and so I'm all like cozy and stuff. I almost wish I could stream while I was still in bed and be all snuggled up. Dee, 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 dee. Oh, okay. I should do a thing. Uh, Good has come out of evil, however, for the barmaid, finding out from the papers that he is in serious trouble and likely to be hanged, has thrown him over utterly, and has written to him to say that she has a husband already in the Bermuda dockyard, so that there is really no tie between them. I think that that bit of news has consoled young McCarthy for all that he has suffered. But if he is innocent, who has done it? Ah, who? I would call your attention to very particular 2 points. One is that the murdered man had an appointment with someone at the pool, and that someone could not have been his son, for his son was away, and he did not know when he would return. The second is that the murdered man was heard to cry "Coe" before he knew that his son had returned. Those are crucial points upon which the case depends. And now let us talk about George Meredith, if you please, and we shall leave all minor matters until tomorrow. Water break. Sorry. I listen. Sometimes straws are difficult. I am a functioning adult, I swear. I can do things. There was no rain, as Holmes had foretold, and the morning broke bright and cloudless. At 9 o'clock, Lestrade called for us with the carriage, and we set off for Hatherley Farm and the Boscombe Pool. There is serious news this morning, said Lestrade. Lestrade observed. It is said that Mr. Turner of the Hall is so ill that his life is despaired of. An elderly man, I presume, said Holmes. About 60, but his constitution has been shattered by his life abroad, and he has been in failing health for some time. This business had had a very bad effect on him. He was an old friend of McCarthy's, and, I may add, a great benefactor to him, for I have learned that he gave him Hatherley Farm rent-free. Indeed, that is interesting, said Holmes. Oh, yes. In 100 other ways he has helped him. Everybody about here speaks of his kindness to him. Really, does it not strike you as a little singular that this McCarthy, who appears to have had little of his own, and to have been under such obligations to Turner, should still talk of marrying his son to Turner's daughter, who is, presumably, heiress to the estate, and that in such a very cocksure manner, as if it were merely a case of a proposal and all else would follow? It is the more strange, since we know that Turner himself was averse to the idea. The daughter told us as much. Do you not deduce something from that? Did the old man do the killing? Is that what we're going to find out? We have got to the deductions and the inferences, said Lestrade, winking at me. I find it hard enough to tackle facts, Holmes, without flying away after theories and fancies. You are right, said Holmes demurely. You do find it very hard to tackle the facts. Anyhow, I have grasped one fact which you seem to find difficult to get hold of, replied Lestrade with some warmth, and that is, that McCarthy Senior met his death from McCarthy Junior, and that all theories to the contrary are the merest moonshine. Well, moonshine is a brighter thing than fog, said Holmes, laughing, but I am very much mistaken if this is not Hatherley Farm upon the left. Yes, that it is. It was a widespread, comfortable-looking building, 2-storied, slate-roofed, with great yellow blotches of lichen upon the grey walls. The drawn blinds and the smokeless chimneys, however, gave it a stricken look, as though the weight of the horror still lay heavy upon it. We called at the door when the maid, at Holmes's request, showed us the boots which her master wore at the time of death, and also a pair of the son's, though not the pair which he had then had. Having measured these very carefully from 7 or 8 different points, Holmes desired to be led to the courtyard, from which we all followed the winding track which led to Boscombe Pool. Sherlock Holmes was transformed when hot upon such a scent as this. Men who had only known him a quiet thinker and logician of Baker Street would have failed to recognize him. His face flushed and darkened, his brows were drawn into two hard black lines, while his eyes shone from beneath them with steely glitter. His face was bent downwards, his shoulders bowed, his lips compressed, and the veins stood out like a whipcord in his long sinewy neck. His nostrils seemed to dilate with a purely animal lust for the chase, and his mind was so absolutely concentrated upon the matter before him that a question or remark fell unheeded upon his ears, or, at the most, only provoked a quick, impatient snarl in reply. Oh, John Watson, you are so in love with this man, and it's not even fucking subtle. You're not even trying to be subtle about it. Like, what, girl? Girly pop. Oops. He he he. When no one else shall, I shall fish myself, because I enjoy it quite a lot, actually. Got something in my eye. Alright, let go. A fisher, a fellow friend in fishing joins me. What I get, what I get. Hell yeah. I'm rich. There we go, there we go. Right. Swiftly and silently he made his way along the track which ran through the meadows, and so by way of the woods to Boscombe Pool. Ooh. You almost beat me, hero, but I made twofold more. It was a damp, marshy ground, as is all that district, and there were marks of many feet, both upon the path and amid the short grass which bounded it on either side. Sometimes Holmes would hurry on, sometimes stop dead, and once he made quite a little detour into the meadow. Lestrade and I walked behind him, the detective indifferent and contemptuous, while I watched my friend with the interest which sprang from the conviction that every one of his actions was directed towards a definite end. The Boscombe Pool, which is a little reed-girt sheet of water some 50 yards across, is situated at the boundary between Hatherley Farm and the private park of wealthy Mr. Turner. Above the woods which lined it upon the further side, we could see the red, jutting pinnacles which marked the site of the rich landowner's dwelling. On the Hatherley side of the pool, the woods grew very thick, and there was a narrow belt of sodden grass 20 paces across between the edges of the trees and the reeds which lined the lake. Lestrade showed us the exact spot at which the body had been found, and indeed, so moist was the ground that I could plainly see traces which had been left by the fall of stricken man. To Holmes, as I could see by his eager face and peering eyes, very many other things were to be read upon the trampled grass. He ran around like a dog who was picking up a scent, and then turned upon my companion. Okay, sorry. Um, what did you go into the pool for? He asked. I fished about with a rake. I thought there might be some weapon or other trace. But how on earth? Oh, tut tut, I have no time. That left foot of yours with its inward twist is all over the place. A mole could trace it, and there it vanishes amongst the reeds. Oh, how simple it would have been if I had been here before they all came like a herd of buffalo and wallowed all over it. Here is where the party with the lodge-keeper came, and they have covered all tracks for 6 or 8 feet around the body. But here are 3 separate tracks at the same feet. He drew out a lens and lay down upon his waterproof to have a better view, talking all the time rather than talking all the time, rather to himself than to us. These are young Mr. McCarthy's feet. I need to stop calling him Mr. It's not Mr. McCarthy, it's young McCarthy. Twice he was walking, and once he ran swiftly, so the soles are deep marked and the heels hardly visible. That bears out his story. He ran when he saw his father on the ground. Then here are the father's feet as he paced up and down. What's this, then? It is the butt end of the gun as the son stood listening. And this? Aha! What have we here? Tiptoes, tiptoes. Square, too. Quite unusual boats. Boats? No, boots. Yes, he was walking on the tiptoes of his boats. They come, they go, they come again. Of course, that was for the cloak. Now, where did they come from? He ran up and down, sometimes losing, sometimes finding the track, until we were well within the edge of the wood and under the shadow of a great beech, the largest tree in the neighborhood. Holmes traced his way to the farther side of this, and lay down once more upon his face with a little cry of satisfaction. For a long time he remained there, turning over the leaves and dried sticks, gathering up what seemed to me to be dust into an envelope, and examining with his lens. Hmm, and examining with his lens not only the ground but even the bark of the tree as far as he could reach. A jagged stone was lying amongst the moss, and this also he carefully examined and retained. Then he followed a path through the woods until he came to the high road, where all traces were lost. It has been a case of considerable interest, he remarked, returning to his natural manner. I fancy that this grey house on the right must be the lodge. I think that I will go in and have a word with Moran, and perhaps write a little note. Having done that, we may drive back to our luncheon. You may walk to the cab, and I shall be with you presently. Did they have cars during this time? Did they have electricity? I fear I don't know enough about the setting of Sherlock Holmes as I thought. I don't think they had cars. Because I know cabs can refer to like carriages and stuff as well. They had trains though, so maybe they had cars. No, but cars and trains aren't really the same mechanic at all, are they? I don't think we ever had steam cars. Well, maybe we did. Oh, fuck, I don't know. Hi, American John. Hi. Welcome in, welcome in. I was just musing about whether or not cars existed during Sherlock Holmes' era, time, whatever. How? Okay. It was about 10 minutes before we regained our cab and drove back into Ross, Holmes still carrying with him the stone which he had picked up in the wood. I believe they did, but I'm not all too sure. Yeah, like, like I feel like they did, but I'm not 100% about it either. Because it feels like an odd time period era thing. I don't fucking know, man. um, this may interest you, Lestrade, he remarked, holding it out. The murder was done with it. I see no marks. There are none. How do you know, then? The grass was growing under it. It had only lain there a few days. There was no sign of a place whence it had been taken. It corresponds with the injuries. There is no sign of any other weapon. And the murderer is a tall man, left-handed, limps with the right leg, wears thick-soled shooting boots and a grey cloak, smokes Indian cigars, uses a cigar holder, and carries a blunt penknife in his pocket. There are several other indications, but these may be enough to aid us in our search. Lestrade laughed. I'm afraid that I am still skeptic, he said. Theories are all very well, but we have to deal with a hard-headed British jury. Late 1870s to 1914. Oh, so yes, cars. The Her home says something in French. I think that I'm not going to try and pronounce. You work your own method, and I shall work mine. I shall be busy this afternoon, and shall probably return to London by the evening train. And leave your case unfinished? No, finished. But the mystery? It is solved. Who was the criminal then? The gentleman I describe. But who is he? Surely it would not be difficult to find out. This is not such a populous neighborhood. Lestrade shrugged his shoulders. I am a practical man, he said, and I really cannot undertake to go about the country looking for a left-handed gentleman with a game leg. I should become the laughing stock of Scotland Yard. All right, said Holmes quietly. I have given you the chance. Here are your lodgings. Goodbye. I shall drop you a line before I leave. Having left Lestrade at his rooms, we drove to our hotel, where we found lunch upon the table. Holmes was silent and buried in thought with a pained expression upon his face, as one who finds himself in a perplexing position. Look here, Watson, he said when the cloth was cleared. Let's sit down in this chair and let me preach to you for a little. I don't quite know what to do, and I should value your advice. Light a cigar and let me expound. Pray do so. Well, now, in considering this case, there are 2 points about young McCarthy's narrative which struck us both instantly, though they impressed me in his favour and you against him. One was the fact that his father should, according to his account, cry "Coe" before seeing him. The other was his singular dying reference to a rat. He mumbled several words, you understand, but that was all that caught the son's ear. Now, from the double point, our research must commence, and we will begin it by presuming that what the lad says is absolutely true. What of this Coe, then? Well, obviously it could not have been meant for the son. The son, as far as he knew, was in Bristol. It was a mere chance that he was within earshot. The Coe was meant to attract the attention of whoever it was that he had appointment with. But Coe is a distinctly Australian cry, and one which is used between Australians. There is a strong presumption that the person whom McCarthy expected to meet him at Boscombe was someone who had been in Australia. What of the rat, then? Sherlock Holmes took a folded piece of paper from his pocket and flattened it out on the table. This is a map of the colony of Victoria, he said. I wired to Bristol for it last night. He put a hand over part of the map. What do you read? He said. A rat, I read. And now he raised his hand. Ballarat. Huh? Quite so. That is the word the man uttered, and of which his son only caught the last two syllables. He was trying to utter the name of his murderer, so-and-so of Ballarat. It is wonderful, I exclaimed. It is obvious. And now, you see, I had narrowed the field down considerably. The possession of a grey garment was the third point which, granting the son's statement to be correct, was a certainty. We have come now out of mere vagueness to the definite conception of an Australian. What the fuck happened to my accent there? What the hell? An Australian from Ballarat with a grey cloak. Certainly. And one who was at home in the district, for the pool can only be approached by the farm or the estate which strangers could hardly wander. Quite so. Then comes our expedition of today. By an examination of the ground, I gained the trifling details which I give to that imbecile Lestrade as to the personality of the criminal. But how did you gain them? You know my methods. It is founded upon the observation of trifles. His height I know that you might roughly judge from the length of his stride. His boots, too, might be told from their traces. Yes, they were peculiar boots. But his lameness? The impression of his right foot was always less distinct than his left. He put less weight upon it. Why? Because he limped. He was lame. But his left-handedness. You were struck yourself by the nature of the injury as recorded by the surgeon at the inquest. The blow was struck from immediately behind, and yet was upon the left side. Now how can that be unless it were by a left-handed man? He had stood behind that tree during the interview between the father and the son. He had even smoked there. I found the ash of the cigar, which my special knowledge of tobacco ashes enables me to pronounce as an Indian cigar. I have, as you know, devoted some attention to this, and written a little monograph on the ashes of 140 different various varieties of pipe, cigar, and cigarette tobacco. Okay, bestie, what the hell? This man is so fucking autistic sometimes. Hmm. On the ash, I then looked round and discovered the stump amongst the moss where he had tossed it. It was an Indian cigar, of the variety which are rolled in Rotterdam. And the cigar holder? I could see that the end had not been in his mouth. Therefore he used a holder. The tip had been cut off, not bitten off, but the cut was not a clean one, so I deduced a blunt penknife. Holmes, I said, you have drawn a net round this man from which he cannot escape, and you have saved an innocent human life as surely as if you had cut the cord which was hanging him. I see the direction in which all this points. The culprit is Mr. John Turner, cried the hotel waiter, opening the door of our sitting room and ushering in a visitor. Ooh, you finally got a rare fish, Hero. Hell yeah. I'm gonna call you Mr. Moneybags now. The man who entered was a strange and impressive figure. Oh, thank you for the follow, speedsters. Thank you, I appreciate it. Hi, Boo Boo. How have I gone from flowers to flowers? What is your mind works in impressive ways. But I'm doing good. I'm just sleepy. I woke up. I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule too. I forced myself to wake up early and now I'm just tired. Hi, hi, hi. We're reading Sherlock Holmes. He's almost solved the mystery. I think he has solved the mystery actually. I mean, we know who the murderer is. It's pretty fucking obvious. Chemistry and math homework. Oof, that's rough. I did chemistry for like a year in school and gave up on it very quickly. Like, it was very interesting, but that shit made my head hurt. Slept so early, so woke up super early. Ah. Bed early is good though. I did not go to bed early. I went to bed at 7 a.m.? No, 6 a.m. Which is earlier than I have gone to bed in uh, like 2 weeks. The math one, since I have to make a stick bridge that holds the weight of a person for 10. How is that math homework? How is that math homework? That's like, that sounds like physics or whatever. How is that related to math whatsoever? What the hell? Hiru, why are you looking at me like that? Ah. I'm I'm so tempted to say it, but I'm not gonna say it. Because I need to calculate the height or something. That's so weird. Supposedly a part of it, it's not even worth that much, but it is what it is. Yeah, sometimes it is just, okay, I guess we're doing this today. Doesn't it just so like weird? Booba, no. Booba, no. Don't do it. Don't go to the dark side. Pigeon with a knife. I like pigeon with a knife. That's gotta be my favorite gender, actually. As pigeon with a knife. Oh my gosh. Silly. It's up there. With Apache attack helicopter. Oh my god. Okay. Let us go back to reading. Boo boo, what are you? Um, the man who entered was a strange and impressive fellow, now figure. His slow, limping step and bowed shoulders gave the appearance of decrepitude, and yet his hard line drew. Thank you for the follow, and give me a second, I will read out your name. I know the last part, it's the big black cat. I'm gonna assume the first bit is pronounced as Bahira, but that might just be my cultural way of doing it. Cat. We saw a creepy black cat on stream last night while playing Honkai Star Rail. I love that cat. It's so, like, stares into your soul. But I like it. It's cute. But thank you for the follow. I do appreciate it very much. Cat. Cat, 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 cat. Right. His hard, deep-lined, craggy features and his enormous limbs showed that he was possessed of unusual strength of body and of character. Pronounced perfectly, it's Bahira as in the Jungle Book. Hell yeah! Yay! So yeah, that makes sense because that is very like a South Asian kind of name. So I know how to pronounce it. Mwahahaha. Oh, Booba, no. Wait, I'll give you. I was running a few of these earlier today as well. There, you can make some points back, hopefully. Um, his tangled beard, grizzled hair, and outstanding drooping eyebrows combined to give an air of dignity and power to his appearance, but his face was of an ashen white, while his lips and the corners of his nostril were tinged with a shade of blue. It's not, no, it's not a handout. It would be a handout if I directly gave you points, which I can do. I can force points on you, but I didn't. Hero, oh my god, your luck. Nice, 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 nice. I think the funnier bit is I would love to just shove some points at you, Poopo, but I don't remember the command for it. It's like add points or something, but yeah. Last time I ended up gambling up to 200k. Exactly. You made so much money. Let me wait. I think it is add points. Suffer, Bobo. You have 10 points now. You can never really stay at zero, anyways, because you just gain points while watching stream. So. Oh my god. Right. I love when chat, you know. Okay. It was clear to me at a glance that he was in the grip of some deadly and chronic disease. Pray sit down on the sofa, said Holmes gently. You had my note? Yes, the lodgekeeper brought it up. You said that you had wished to see me here to avoid scandal. I thought people would talk if I went to the hall. And why did you wish to see me? He looked across at my companion. It's rigged. It's rigged in your favor and you're complaining to me. I think you're the first person I've ever heard that from. Like, oh, what's the fucking meme thing? It's like, my steak too juicy or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, exactly. You use it like pocket sand. You're almost getting the point, Boobo. Hi, Neon. Hi. Welcome in. We're bullying Boobo, I guess. His steak too juicy and his lobster too buttery. Yeah, that one. No, don't give your points. Do I need to forcefully upgrade you again, Boobo? Oh my god. The more you complain about money, the more I want to shove money at you. It's not even money, it's points. I wish I could shove money at people. I don't have very much money. I don't want it. I don't want my ads back. Who did you get? Sailor bought you a sub, didn't she? Or was it someone else? It might have been a gifted one. I don't actually remember at all. But you got the little butterfly badge. How can you not like that? It's so cute. Yeah. And they upgrade in color. And if you get the badge, I think whatever the like longest one is, I think it's a year or whatever. It's pink to match mine. Wanna taste it? No, don't eat my butterflies. Bobo. Atom by atom, molecule by molecule, teacher got it. I mean, yeah. I feel like depending on how old your teacher is, I'm not that surprised. Because, like, all the millennial people who used to grow up on SpongeBob are in teaching now. Not like that, those people are all teaching age. Teacher is a true person of culture. I don't like the new SpongeBob stuff though. One of my siblings was watching it the other day and I was like, ooh, the animation's too clean. Something about it was just like too good. She's like 35. Yeah. Then she's definitely grown up on SpongeBob. Hi, hi, hi. All cozy for bed, so sleep here with me. Nice, nice. I hope you have a lovely, lovely sleep. And thanks for joining. Wow. Oh, heroic, like heroic but different. Floor cake. I do love some floor time, to be fair. King of the floors. Time for a rebrand. We're gonna be king of the floors. Nice and warm, so it seems right. Hell yeah. Cozy little bugs in bed. I want to be a cozy little bug in bed too. I should bring my blanket over. A VTuber floorboard. Just a plank with jiggle physics. Boo, you cannot make me laugh this hard on ASMR streams. Oh my god. I need to like lose my mind for a bit. Give me a second. So like I would unironically watch a VTuber who is just a plank with jiggle physics. It's the plank character, the fucking Ed and Eddie, the plank from that show. That's all I'm imagining. Yeah. Oh my god, they're so funny. I'm glad we're all on the same page, and also I'm glad we're both just showing our age. Ironic you call it that Plank because his name is Plank. That kid had the same amount of naming imagination as I do. I am awful, terrible at naming things. I too would probably get a plank with googly eyes and name it Plank. Why, but I was scared of the plank. No. All my MMO characters are Booba plus class name. Play a monkey and his name is Monkey. Oh my god. My D&D character's name, like her whole deal is like her connection with the ocean or something, and her name just means like the sea in a different language. So, you know. And then I'm pretty sure my character's girlfriend's name was also the same thing. Her name means like protector of the sea or some shit. Like, I love also being bilingual because I can do shit like that with my friends where I'm like, well, they don't know my other languages, so I can just name characters in other languages and it sounds cool. I'm pretty sure I had a fairy that was like a Twilight fairy type thing that I just named Sparkle, but like in a different language. Thank you for the follow, Necro X Ninja. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome. Hello. I speak over 10 languages. If made up ones and gibberish counts, else it's just two. Hey, two is a good amount of languages, okay? I speak like two, three and a half. So, you know. Mm. Hi. Hello. Thanks for dropping by. We're supposed to be reading, but I've just been having conversations with chat because we got very distracted. I swear we're on the last like page, 2 page of the story. Yeah, it's the last like page and a half left. And we've just been so chatting together. No, it's okay, Boo Boo. I like talking to you. I think it's fun. And I love bullying you. So it's okay. Let's for anybody who wants to join. When I will try to find where the fuck I Hero, I love that you just appear. Appear for the raffles. Oh my god, I need to remember to message you after stream actually. I had a thing. I need to put a reminder on my thing for it. Addicted to the dust. Oh my god. See, Boo, it's not rigged. I am pretty sure that I can go into the back end and actually rig it. So I could. I could make it so you never lose anything. No, they can give your points to me. Give them to like Hero or something. Someone who deserves them more than I do. I've got enough fairy dust of my own. I could just give myself more. No, but Hero, I would not do that to you guys. I like the random chance. I think it's fun. Dum 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 dum. Okay. Alright. And why did you wish to see me? He looked across at my companion with despair in his weary eyes, as though his question was already answered. Yes, said Mr. Holmes, answering the look rather than the words. It is so. I know all about McCarthy. The old man sank his face in his hands. God help me, he cried, but I would not have let the young man come to harm. I give you my word that I would have spoken out if it went against him at the assizes. It's my curse, probably because Farking is jealous of the white square. Oh no. No, I've been free of the white square for so long. No. God fucking damn it. help. Um, yep. Boo Boo, you're gonna scare all the new viewers away. I can just like sense my follower count dropping. Oh my gosh. Yep, white square. Mm-hmm. Hero, not you too. I am glad to hear you say so, said Holmes gravely. I would have spoken now had it not been for my dear girl. It would break her heart. It will break her heart when she hears that I am arrested. It may not come to that, said Holmes. I am no come to that, said Holmes. What? I am no official agent. I understand that it was your daughter who required my presence here, and I am acting in her interests. Young McCarthy must be cut off, however. I am a dying man, said old Turner. I have had diabetes for years. My doctor says it is a question whether I shall live a month. Yet I would rather die under my own roof than in jail. Holmes rose and sat down at the table with his pen in his hand and a bundle of paper before him. Her face is full. No, I. Boobo, you're the one explaining the white square. I'm not. This is your doing. Use your Twitch Prime to restore my face. Every subscription unlocks a piece of my face. We put it back together like a puzzle. Holmes rose and. Okay, no, wait, I read that one. Just tell us the truth, he said. I shall jot down the facts, you will sign it, and Watson here can witness it. Then I could produce your confession at the last extremity to save young McCarthy. I promise you that I shall not use it unless it is absolutely needed. It's as well, said the old man. It's a question whether I should live to the assizes, so it matters little to me, but I should wish to spare Alice the shock. And now I will make the thing clear to you. It has been a long time in the acting, but will not take me long to tell. Wee. You didn't know this dead man, McCarthy. He was a devil incarnate, I'll tell you that. God keep you out of the clutches of such a man as he. His grip has been upon me these 20 years, and he has blasted my life. I'll tell you first how I came to be in his power. It was in the early 60s at the diggings. I was a young chap then, hot-blooded and reckless, ready to turn my hand at anything. I got amongst bad companions, took to drink, had no luck with my claim, took it to the bush, and in a word became what you would call over here a highway robber. Hell yeah, hero, congrats! Oh no, SCP. One day you shall win too. There were 6 of us, and we had a wild, free life of it, sticking up a station from time to time, or stopping the wagons on the road to diggings. Black Jack of Ballarat was the name I went under, and our party is still remembered in the colony as the Ballarat Gang. For Hi, Johnny. Yes, I have been white squared. One day a gold convoy came down from Ballarat to Melbourne, and we lay in wait for it and attacked it. There were 6 troopers and 6 of us, so it was a close thing, but we emptied 4 of their saddles at the first volley. 3 of our boys were killed, however, before we got the swag. I put my pistol to the head of the wagon driver, who was this very man McCarthy. I wished to the Lord that I had shot him then, but I spared him, though I saw his wicked little eyes fixed on my face, as though to remember my every feature. We got away with the gold, became wealthy men, and made our way over to England without being suspected. There I parted from my old pals, determined to settle down to a quiet and respectable life. I bought this estate, which chanced to be in the market, and set myself to do a little good with my money, to make up for the way in which I had earned it. I married too, and though my wife died young, she left me my dear little Alice. Even when she was just a baby, her wee hand seemed to lead me down the right path as nothing else had ever done. In a word, I turned over a new leaf and did the best to make up for the past. All was going well when McCarthy laid his grip upon me. I had gone up to town about an investment, and I met him in Regent Street, with hardly a coat to his back or a boot to his foot. "Here we are, Jack," says he, touching me on the arm. "We'll be as good as family to you. There's two of us, me and my son, and you can have the keeping of us. If you don't, it's a fine law-abiding country, this is England, and there's always a policeman within hail." Well, down they came to the West Country. There was no shaking them off, and there they have lived rent-free on my best land ever since. There was no rest for me, no peace, no forgetfulness. Turn where I would, there was his cunning, grinning face at my elbow. It grew worse as Alice grew up, for he soon saw I was more afraid of her knowing my past than of the police. Whatever he wanted he must have, and whatever it was I gave him without question: land, money, houses, until at last he asked a thing which I could not give. He asked for Alice. His son, you see, had grown up, and so had my girl, and as I was known to be in weak health, it seemed a fine stroke to him that his lad should step into the whole property. But there I was firm. I would not have his cursed stock mixed with mine. Not that I had any dislike to the lad, but his blood was in him, and that was enough. I stood firm. McCarthy threatened. I braved him to do his worst. We were to meet at the pool midway between our houses to talk it over. Parking lesson started. I hope you have a good lesson. Have fun. Learn much. When I went down there, I found him talking with his son. So I smoked a cigar and waited behind a tree until he should be alone. But as I listened to his talk, all that was black and bitter in me seemed to come uppermost. He was urging his son to marry my daughter, with as little regard for what she might think as if she were a slut from off the streets. It drove me mad to think that I and all that I held most dear should be in the power of such a man as this. Madison is not fun, no. Why not? Could I not snap the bond? I was already a dying and desperate man. Though clear of mind and fairly strong of limb, I knew that my own fate was sealed. But my memory and my girl, both could be saved if I could but silence that foul tongue. I did it, Mr. Holmes. I would do it again. Deeply as I have sinned, I have led a life of martyrdom to atone for it. But that my girl should be entangled in the same meshes which held me down was more than I could suffer. I struck him down with no more compunction than if he had been some foul and venomous beast. His cry brought back his son, but I had gained the cover of the wood, though I was forced to go back to fetch the cloak which had dropped on my flight. That is the true story, gentlemen, of all that occurred. Well, it is not for me to judge you, said Holmes, as the old man signed the statement which had been drawn out. I pray that we may never be exposed to such a temptation. I pray not, sir. And what do you intend to do? In view of your health, nothing. You are yourself aware that you will soon have to answer for your deeds at a higher court than assizes. I will keep your confession, and if Miss McCarthy is condemned, I shall be forced to use it. If not, it shall never be seen by a mortal eye, and your secret, whether you be alive or dead, shall be safe with us. Farewell, then, said the old man solemnly. Your own deathbeds, when they come, will be the easier for the thought of the peace which you have given to mine. Tottering and shaking in all his giant frame, he stumbled slowly from the room. God help us, cried Holmes after a long silence. Why does fate play such tricks with poor helpless worms? I never hear of such a case as this that I do not think of Baxter's words and say, there, but for the grace of God, goes Sherlock Holmes. James McCarthy was acquitted at the assizes on the strength of a number of objections which had been drawn out by Holmes and submitted to the defending counsel. Old Turner lived for 7 months after our interview, but he is now dead, and there is every prospect that the son and daughter may come to live happily together in ignorance of the black cloud which rests upon their past. Woo! We finished it. Only took me 2 hours. But we could do another, probably, maybe. Who knows? Thank you, thank you. I enjoy reading to you guys. I enjoy reading, period, to be fair, and I love Sherlock Holmes. And these streams are always fun because it's very low energy. And I can definitely keep going. Maybe I'll need to be more. I need to work on commissions though. Because I got some deadlines I gotta meet. Oops. I enjoy it too, that's why I watch it without audio. Commission deadlines, yeah. I do art. I need to figure out how to do art streams. But well, the deadline's not soon anyways. I've got 2 weeks, but I've got some emotes I gotta do. I got some studying. We want art streams. Ooh. Here's some of our pencil strokes. Yeah. I do want to figure out art streams. I'm gonna have to just like test them quite a bit because I don't know if my iPad can actually handle it. Okay. there is much of a demand for art streams apparently. Okay. I don't know. I didn't expect that, I guess. But hey ho, yeah. Let me see if I can set one up for later this week. Maybe the weekend. Can you draw a white square when you do an eye? For you, Boobo, I will draw a white square. Just for you. To be fair, I should not outstream myself right now because I am going to be streaming again in like 7 hours. Because I'm going to fun stream with my friend tonight. What an art stream, love art. Passion as a kid and traumatized, got stuck with sticky figure. Oh no. I mean, honestly, yeah, no, art has been my passion for years, but I did it at like school level, and then after my GCSEs, I was so burnt out. I did not touch like pen and paper, like pencil and paper for 2 years until like the summer before university when I started drawing again. What's happening next stream? So tonight, one of my IRL friends, and I are gonna be like doing a tier list type stream. There we go. We've got some Pokemon stuff, some Pokemon tier lists that we're gonna be doing. There's some like random tier list stuff. It's gonna be fun. I love doing stupid tier lists, and I love my friends. He's been a friend of mine for quite a few years. He's also like my D&D DM for my pirate campaign. So, love that boy. He's great. He's an artist too. And he drew himself a little Fugi for the stream. So that's gonna be fun. You drew an emo. I saw your emo for Sailor. It's so freaking cute. I genuinely really love it. I think it's adorable. I want an emote from Bubo too. Hey. Hey, your best is still pretty good. We don't put ourselves down around here. One day. It takes long time to make masterpieces. You just gotta keep doing it. Practice makes perfect. Mm, okay. I should then end stream there. Yeah, that would be the smart thing to do. I don't wanna wear my voice out. So I will end there. Next stream is gonna be fun. Yeah. We'll be going live 11 p.m. my time, so 7 hours. But if you're in the Discord, you'll get picked when I go live. Um, might do some more ASMR tomorrow. Who knows? Thanks, Boo Boo. Boo Boo, I might as well just make you a mod at this point. Hey, Boo Boo, do you want to be a mod? I need mods. I was gonna ask. Um, Boo Boo wants no responsibility. But Boo Boo, are you not my friend? Do you not want unlimited power? Unlimited white square. Mm. I don't know about that one. With great power comes great responsibilities. I mean, to be fair, the only responsibility is keep chat engaged. That's the kind of mod I'm looking for, is doing that, someone who can do like the raffles and stuff. Because my typing is too loud for ASMR streams. Too bad I'm not a mod. You could be a mod. Or Hiru could be a mod. Hey Hiru, are you listening? Do you want to be a mod? Just doing this on stream. I need a mod. I've been like musing on it for a few days now. That's not a very nice reaction. Oh gosh. Mod duties basically include do raffles and talk to chat if I am distracted. That's literally all I need it for. Like the actual mod stuff, like the people dealing with stuff, I've got my boyfriend to do that. He's fine. Oh no, hero. You do a pretty decent job of it already. I love seeing you in chat. It's a good time. You can have power over raffles. You could run like a 100,000 point raffle if you wanted to. Mhm. Insider trading, 100%. Yeah. The economy is gonna fucking collapse, but it's fine. Be keen to be a mod if you need one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do. I was literally um gonna message you on Discord about it anyways. So, because I was gonna. I think I had the message typed and I got distracted. Because that happens. Because I'm sleepy. Wait, can I? No, no. Is it that button? No, it's not. Oh, it is that button. Yeah. Yippee! I have a new mod. You should be able to do raffles. If I set it up correctly, and if I didn't, eh. Oh. Yeah! And thank you for the follow. I'm I'm assuming that's pronounced as Jaeger, like the drink, like the alcohol drink. It's not an alcoholic. Is it an alcoholic drink? I think it is, because you put it in Red Bull and take a shot, right? Is that what I'm thinking of? I got it right. Hell yeah! Listen, I was a university student in England. There was a lot of Jaeger bombs being had. I'm happy that you're happy. That makes me happy. I'm assuming that other people probably like just pronounce it phonetically, which would be what fucking Jaeger, something like that. Ew, that feels wrong. That feels weird. It's Jaeger. Like, every time I see your name, I'm just gonna think of Jaeger bombs and how fucked up I used to get on that shit in uni. Like, oh my god, they were, you know, they do, yeah. I'm very sorry that they mispronounced your name. being being a university student in England is not for the weak of heart. The amount of drinks, the amount of money I have spent on alcohol while I lived there. And then I think the funnier part to me was how quickly after university I just stopped. It was no longer the like I graduated and I was like, well, now I don't want to go to the club anymore actually. I'm kind of bored. I overdid it for 3 years and then I got bored. I don't think, yeah, I have not had a Jaeger bomb since I was like fucking 20 or something. No, 22. Yeah, because I got some for my birthday that year. Free birthday shots. Brooks was working at a bar. You're making yourself sound old. I'm not even that old. I'm only 25. Chat, I swear I am not old. Please. I'm just homely. That's such a lie. Exactly. Hiru, we're just babies. Look, Boo Boo agrees with us. We're just babies. It's fine. got so much life yet left to live. Sounds like wife material. Trust me, I am not fucking wife material. I can't cook for shit. I am I am not allowed in the kitchen because the way I handle a knife is apparently gives everyone else so much anxiety. Oh my god, I'm yeah. Calling me homely is a horrible. I fucking hate staying in the house. I am such a social person, it's insane. What do you do with it? What did you like to know? Threaten the chef. The chef is me. I am the chef though. If you can cuddle, then you're fine with it. Yes, I do give good cuddles. I have been told, in fact, by most people that I give amazing hugs and cuddles. My friends love it. It's great. Can I really threaten the chef if I am the chef? Have I ever told you guys how much I fucking hate doing laundry? And how it's like the worst household chore? If you're the chef and the kitchen is on fire, you don't want to know how many burn marks I have on my hand from trying to cook in like, I think 3 of them are just from the first year of university. But yeah, my boyfriend has banned me from the kitchen, but also it's fine. Look at me, I am the chef now, flower probably. Me brandishing a knife completely the wrong way. A for effort though, cooking with love is more about the thought than the result sometimes. Exactly. And the result is never bad. I've never made like a bad dish, to be fair. It's more that I just hurt myself in the process of doing it. And so people don't want me in the kitchen because like they don't want me to hurt myself or whatever. Blah. But it's also like my boyfriend is like an infinitely better cook than I am though. So I can make like 3 things. I can make a really good cheesy pasta, like a cream sauce pasta. I can make a traditional sort of chicken and ginger dish over rice. And I can cook anything that requires being put into the oven. After in a radiation suit. Oh my god, yeah, what? Yeah, listen, I'm fine. They're safe. Yeah. I mean, I have a big issue with the fact that I keep falling while going up the stairs recently. It's happened twice in the last month, and I bruised one knee one time, and then like a week later I bruised my other knee, and I was just like, this kind of hurts actually. And clumsiness is just in my DNA. What can I say? I should end stream before the ad break comes in because that would be kind of. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I really hope that you guys had some good funs. Um, I will see. That's the wrong button. I'll be streaming again in 7-ish hours. With my friend. Won't be an ASMR stream, but yeah, another stream in 7 hours. Thank you, Boba. And you're very welcome, hero. I will see you guys another time. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. You should just be a mod, boo boy. I love you. You're great. Alright, guys. Wait, bye.